Hello everyone, I'm Dante and welcome to another Anthem update. Today we're taking a look at the new loot update from Ben Irving, posted late last night and summarising the feedback BioWare have received and their plans to fix it. So we've got our first update on the loot in Anthem, which I have some criticism of, but I'm going to focus on the update itself. Ben gave us a brief summary of the specific feedback that they're addressing, focused primarily on the top end of the loot curve with inscriptions, which you'll have noticed on essentially any gear, not just masterwork and legendaries, that they're entirely random by design, the purpose of which is to deepen the loot pool by searching for the perfect roll on an item. However, in practice, the pool of inscriptions includes buffs to completely irrelevant stats, such as having a Colossus specific weapon, like an autocannon, buff machine pistol damage, a weapon a Colossus can't even equip, making the system overly frustrating, as unlike games like Diablo and Path of Exile, you aren't being showered in loot. To offset these frustrations, the feedback has taken two common paths. The drop rates need to be increased, or for inscriptions that can't be used by the javelin and the weapon to be removed from the loot pool. Players also need to craft large numbers of items and complete additional farming for the same items to remove these useless inscriptions, removing much of the joy of finding masterworks and especially legendaries, while consuming large amounts of resources to offset the issue on the player's side. On March 1st, BioWare will be implementing the following changes to resolve these issues, but as a point of clarification, these will not be retroactive. Only new items after the patch will use these new values. The main change is pretty major. The entire loot pools for the inscriptions have been altered, moving away from the current values of major and minor with an additional split into primary and secondary pools. These pools contain every single inscription. All weapons, components, support abilities and offensive abilities pull from the same pools of inscriptions, resulting in a highly random nature of inscriptions and why you'll see completely useless ones on your items. The new inscription system throws out this concept almost in its entirety, creating a whole new set of inscription pools, one specific to the item and one specific to the javelin. In addition to the types of inscriptions in each pool have been clarified, keeping the primary and secondary pools for both the item and the javelin. Primary stats will be specific to either damage or survivability, and secondary will be for utility changes. As an example, if a legendary weapon in the new system was to drop, you would keep 4 pools of inscriptions. The first half are specific to the weapon, increasing its damage by X amount, and a secondary inscription that reduces its recoil. Then we have the second half, one reducing the cooldown of an ability, with the secondary increasing thruster recharge amount, instantly making it better on average than would have dropped before. In addition to these large changes to the inscriptions themselves, we have 2 other changes tailored to the feedback. One is removal of white and green loot drops once you hit level 30, as they are useless due to the way loot scales. Another minor issue I don't see being resolved as its impact is limited. This means you'll see the same number of drops, but they will be at least blue quality, which itself is pretty useless by level 30. A side effect of having 2 less rarities in the loot pool might increase the chance of masterwork items in general, or replace those drops with blues and purples. Without seeing the exact drop chance breakdowns, all we can do is guess that all rarities will be expanded, which, if true, is great news. The second change is to crafting, drastically reducing the price of creating new masterwork items, a 40% reduction in cost, from 25 embers to 15, which, when combined with the inscription changes, will make grinding for that god roll items all the more reliable, but still rare enough to be worth chasing. Other issues with how you unlock the high level patterns will still exist, forcing you to grind large amounts of events and missions so that you can craft anything useful, but that stockpile of embers will be that much more useful. These are just the initial changes BioWare are making, and I encourage you to continue providing your constructive feedback to BioWare, ideally through their official channels, as this is far easier for them to both obtain and review effectively. In my opinion, these are a great first step into making the endgame loot more rewarding, and reducing the frustration of getting the same loot with effectively useless inscriptions over and over. What I would like to see, however, is more loot drops in general, especially on the higher Grandmaster difficulties. Once you pass into Grandmaster 2 and especially 3, the balance curve goes a bit out the window, and the rewards just aren't up to the bar when compared to Grandmaster 1. So maybe this will be one of the other changes they are looking into. In theory, this change should be an overall buff to all javelins, as on average, you'll be doing more damage with the new weapon drops, opening up Grandmaster difficulties to more people. So to me, rebalancing these difficulties to be worth doing is the clear next step, which means that additional in-game content is going to be more important than ever. I am, however, glad to see that BioWare and their key developers are sticking with their close ties to the community and speaking to us more directly, giving me far more confidence that they'll eventually deliver the game they set out to. I've posted all the links to the Reddit post below so you can read this and any responses for yourself. As always, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the changes BioWare are making and if you think these will be enough to keep you interested in the endgame. Thanks for watching this Anthem update. I've got a new Anthem lore video covering everything about the Legion of Dawn coming this week, so if you have any requests for lore, do let me know in the comment section below. If you found this video useful, please leave a like or a dislike if you prefer. You can support the channel by subscribing and use the bell to be notified of future content as it goes live. Until next time, I've been Dante, thanks for watching.